Philadelphia Eagles, for me, it's all about the guy that they will be resting this week, and that's Saquon Barkley and this run game. And I know this is going to seem like RC, but also this defense. When they went on this stretch run after the bye, the defense was playing at an elite level. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen them slip. And with some of that slippage, we've seen cracks in the armors that offenses can attack. They need to shore up those things and continue to feed Saquon Barkley so that leads into the pass game.
Okay. All right. I don't know what you're really talking about these last couple of weeks. They've seen some slippage and stuff like that. If you're expecting the defense to be able to just be absolutely unstoppable every single game, week in and week out, like I don't know what to tell you, man. You're also, especially against that game versus the Commanders, like on one side, they played really great, forcing all these turnovers, interceptions, but then they dealt with some injuries and Gardner Johnson getting thrown out of the game, so like they were kind of dealing with a few kind of weird situations, but they also did force a lot of turnovers, and then and then they played the Dallas Cowboys and Cooper Rush did nothing. People talk about the Buccaneers and how gritty that defense can be and this or that, and it's like the Dallas Cowboys did better than that. Dallas Cowboys actually had some momentum going, and the Eagles were like, nope, not at all. So I don't know. No one's going to be perfect every single game of the season. It's just not going to happen, and there's gonna be some lulls or some back steps throughout a season, both offensively and defensively. And I do think that the defense, especially against the Commanders, was a little bit on their back foot, dealing with, like I said, various things. Having to put certain players in positions that they weren't necessarily accustomed to, as well as having shortened drives, extra possessions, because of the lack of sustained drives from Kenny Pickett at that time and their inability to run the ball. Like it just kind of, inhibited their ability to play the complementary football that we have seen the Philadelphia Eagles have done. And again, Gardner Johnson is a huge piece of that defense, and having him not there really mattered big time. Again, I'm not going to act like that they played this great defense despite those things against a team like the Commanders, but to kind of use that game, then again against the Dallas Cowboys, I'm still kind of confused by that. Like I still can't really wrap my head around that. I don't think that the defense was somehow magically exposed. I think Jaden Daniels played a great game and was able to find his way and be resilient, etc., etc. So like I don't know. This doesn't really land to me. I mean, if we just look at it here, they played the Commanders 18 points, the Rams 20 points, the Ravens 19 points, the Panthers 16 points, the Steelers 13 points. Then you have the Commanders, a 36-point game, which we already discussed and unpacked, and then the Cowboys 7 points. So I just what cracks are you talking about right now? Like what cracks? Doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, obviously Saquon Barkley and being able to do what they want to be able to do going into the playoffs. I think the Eagles are in such a great spot. I mean, they know who they are. They know their identity. They know what needs to be done. They have a lot of players who have been there before, who have played in the playoffs, who have been on the road in the Super Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of players in this team that have just been to the Super Bowl alone, in general, who have won a Super Bowl, who have lost a Super Bowl. Like, all of that experience, like, really runs deep and does give them a leg up on the Vikings, the Packers, the Lions. Just like how we talk about how the Chiefs have that leg up because they have, a bunch of their key players and coaching staff that have, obviously been to multiple Super Bowls, Super Bowl wins, etc. The Eagles have that no one else in the NFC really has. You can kind of say the Rams, but like at this point, it's really just kind of Stafford, McVay, and Cooper Kupp. But like, Cooper Kupp, he's not really the number one right now anymore. for the Eagles, A.J. Brown is the one. Lane Johnson, is that dude. Super Bowl winner and Super Bowl loser, I suppose, as well in 22, right? Jalen Hurts, like, these guys have been there, and they've been there very recently, like literally just a couple years ago. And so I think that matters. I think that matters. And when you have someone like a Saquon Barkley, who obviously hasn't been there, but still some playoff experience, albeit, limited relative to what some of these other guys have been able to do, he's going to be so supported by these players, by an O-line who has been there, who has been in the trenches. Like, it's really going to be just a very supportive situation where I feel that this team is going to be very much connected. When we compare to it last year, the team was very much disconnected. You had players who were like, I'm retiring, I'm done. You had players who were angry about what happened the year before. You had a weird coordinating situation, like you had injuries, like everything kind of just fell apart, and it was clearly falling apart as the season was unfolding. It's essentially been the exact opposite here. This team has continued to get stronger and stronger and better and better. Their issues were earlier on in the season that they then resolved and took care of, and have proven to have taken care of that. So, I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles have just as good of a chance to win the Super Bowl as any of the other top teams. Like, the Philadelphia Eagles are right there. It'll come down to execution. Execution and football gods. It's not going to be because of lack of talent. It's not going to be because of lack of readiness. It's not going to be because of lack of production. It's not going to be because, you just played a better team. What are you going to do? It's going to come down to execution and football gods. That's really the way I view it. So, and again, for them to be able to go into this final game of the season and have it essentially mean, not essentially, like, it means literally nothing. Like, the Ravens, they still kind of have to beat the Browns, right? The Steelers, like, they got to beat, like, beating the Bengals helps them. The Bengals got to win to even get in. Like, there's still kind of some of these other situations where some of these teams, even the top teams, like the Vikings and the Lions, like, they got to play, man. They got to go. The Eagles truly get to just breathe for a second. They get to heal up, rest up. They get to work on what they need to work on. Great spot to be in. Absolutely great spot to be in. They should have all the momentum and all the wind behind their sails. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles now that they're, locked in the second seed? Do you think there is a little bit of concern for what the defense has shown, I guess, as of late? And how are you feeling about the offense moving forward? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.